school, I loved French class. And I took French for almost 7 years in school. And what I need you to understand is that we had an instructor, and her name was Madam Haley. And when we would enter into her classroom, she would give the guidelines for the class. She would say, first of all, when you come into my class, I don't want you to speak English. He would say, you all are advanced enough to know how to speak French when you're in my class. She would say, you all understand what it's like, amen, to be in a position to use your gifting. And what I need somebody to understand is that sometimes God gives it to us. He leaves it up to us to speak life into our situation. For the Bible declares that the power of life and death are in the tongue. What you speak is exactly what you shall have. And some of you need to get mad at the devil and go ahead and start setting up some order in your life. Some of you, God can't add to you because your life is already out of order. Some of you, God can't give you nothing because you're not content and you don't take care of what you have. So she would say, when you come in, what I need y'all to do is to follow my instructions, because you must understand that when you're learning a foreign language, it's much difficult than it is speaking the dialect that you currently know. So we would have to really pay attention. And sometimes the class would get out of order. Sometimes the class would begin to do things that they wanted to do and not pay attention to Madam Haley. And so she would look at some of us and say, listen, I need y'all to fermer la bouche. And that means to close your mouth. Some of you, God is saying it's no order in your life. And the reason there's no order in your life is because you're speaking defeat. God says the reason that there's no order in your life is because you're not speaking life to your dead situation. But God told me to stop by Greater Harvest Church in Woodruff, South Carolina, and tell somebody to fermer la bouche, which means to close your mouth. Because God said, I'm trying to get something to you. I'm trying to make a way of escape for you. But you keep speaking defeat. You keep speaking down. God says, when I'm trying to bring you up, he says, I don't need you putting your 2 cents in it. Look at somebody and say, ferme la bouche. Some of us are not moving because we speak defeat. You have this woe is me mentality. Why is everybody always picking on me? But what I need you to understand is that God has something greater in store for you. Just touch somebody and say, this is not my final destination. And I'm reminded that when we would enter into her classroom, she would look at us and she would say, you know, sometimes we come in because we forget. We say, hello, how you doing? She said, no. That's not the order of the class. She would say, what I need you to do is say bonjour. Somebody shout bonjour. Bonjour. And bonjour means hello. Look at somebody and say bonjour. Bonjour. May I tell you that where God is taking you right now, it's going to be a bonjour in your spirit. God is saying that he's looking for somebody that will say hello to the next place in God. He's looking for somebody that will say bonjour to your next dimension in God. He's looking for somebody that will say hello and welcome with open arms your next place in God. Just look at somebody and say bonjour. And sometimes, you know, we would do good things in the classroom. And she would say, merci. Look at somebody and say, merci. Merci. We're having a French lesson, but it's all right. She would say, merci. Realizing that we must take on the same mentality. When God begins to shift you and to motivate you into a new place. When you begin to understand that this is not the place that you're in right now, is not your final destination. But there is a greater place that God is driving you, a greater place that God is provoking you, a greater place that God is thrusting you into. You say, merci. How many people understand that when God does something great for you, you ought to be able to say thank you? Look at somebody and say, merci. See, sometimes we sitting beside some people in church who don't want to see you be blessed. They don't want to see you make it to the place where God has predestined you to be. They don't want to see you get a new husband. They don't want to see you driving a new car. They may not want to see you blessed and prosper, but how many people know that you can tell God mercy? Lord, I thank you for your goodness. Lord, I thank you for your grace. Lord, I thank you for everything that you're doing in my life right now, because I understand that where I am right now is not my final destination, but I'm going higher and I'm moving greater in God. Somebody just lift your hands and tell the Lord, merci, 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 merci. Lord, I thank you. And when we get to this place, we've got to understand that sometimes when God takes us and he shifts us into a new place, just touch somebody and say, I'm shifting now. Oh, yes, I am. See, some people are looking for you in the place where they left you. See, Joseph's brothers, they went back to the pit. But Joseph had been sold off into slavery. Understanding that some people think just because they put you in a dark place is that that's where you're supposed to remain for the rest of your life. But I come to pronounce to every naysayer, to everybody who says that you'll never come up and come out. God says that I am getting ready to cause you to say au revoir to some places in your life. Just look at somebody and say au revoir. I'm saying goodbye to my current dwelling place. I'm saying goodbye to my current circumstances. I'm saying au revoir to some places in my life that does not glorify God. And if that means that sometimes I'm going to have to disconnect myself from some people, au revoir, baby. Bye-bye. See you later. Because I'm looking